All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Fantasy Sports Boss, Fantasy Football Live. This is going to be our probably last live stream, before we get fully into the championship week. Of course, we had the Browns play the Jets already, with some smashing performances by David Njoku and Joe Flacco, and to a lesser extent, Breece Hall. And then, of course, tonight we have a big one: Dallas Cowboys, Detroit Lions. Over under, I believe, is 54 in this game. So all hands on deck. You throw everybody: David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, every Jake Ferguson, all of your Cowboys, Lions, key fantasy football players. You put them all in there for this one because there's going to be a lot of points. And of course, tomorrow, the gist of the week and where all of our fates will be decided. I know for myself, I've been stressing all week about this. Last minute lineup decisions. Like I said, I did go with Garrett Wilson, who gave me 10 points over Tyler Lockett as my wide receiver 3. I have 4 running backs for 3 spots, 2 running back spots, and of course a flex. I'm waiting on Isaiah Pacheco. Does he clear concussion protocol? We will find out probably today. And again, just for somebody to clear concussion protocol, even though it would benefit me in 6 days, I think is just absolutely ridiculous. You get a concussion today and then you clear tomorrow. I mean, that's just, the whole policy is just a big joke. But also have Javonte Williams, Ezekiel Elliott, James Conner, and then I have Jake Ferguson on the bench, Trey McBride in my tight end spot. So I'm just kicking around all these various scenarios, second guessing everything, because that's what you do when you're in the fantasy football championship. Want this one bad. I had an even better team that got upset last week. Still can't believe I lost with a team of Josh Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, T.J. Hockenson, who wound up getting hurt, Austin Eckler. Like, that team was loaded, and I ran into the Breece Hall, Evan Ingram buzzsaw last week. So that's how it goes. But I still have a chance to win at least one of my leagues, and hopefully CeeDee Lamb gives me a big game tonight. So far, you guys think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to have a bigger outing. I think CeeDee Lamb personally will, because the Cowboys have been really good against slot receivers this year, which Amon-Ra, more often than not operates out of the slot. But either way, it's going to be a very high-scoring game. David, you're desperate at quarterback. I see that Stidham, Hall, or Tyrod Taylor. Well, you can't go Hall because we don't have any information on him. And if you're going to trust an untested rookie from BYU who's literally played 1 series in a fantasy football championship, I don't think you could do that. Then it comes down to Taylor, who's got a tough matchup against the Rams. The Giants have given up the most sacks of any team in the NFL this year. And, of course, you have Aaron Donald licking his chops. Stidham, we've actually seen him play fairly decent, had a big game down the stretch last season, I guess, and he gets a very generous Chargers defense. So I would go Stidham, but that is a rough batch of quarterbacks to choose from. Hey, Plumsky, how are you? You got Fields, Love, Stafford. Who should I start? Well, I mean, all 3 of those guys have good matchups. Jordan Love, I like Jordan Love because he runs the football. I'm just pulling up the schedule for this week. Jordan Love runs the football whereas Stafford does not. Justin Fields obviously runs it. There's going to be some bad weather in that game. There's going to be some rain. So I'm not sure how much, passing he's going to do, but there's going to be a lot of throwing the ball. If I had to pick one, though, I would probably lean Jordan Love. That's how I would go there with that one. Just a slight lean. If it wasn't bad weather for the Bears game, I would probably go Justin Fields. Do you trust Eckler this week? Yes, I do trust him. The reason why I trust him is the new coach last week, Jermaine, made it a point to give him the majority of workload, whereas that idiot Staley wanted to start divvying up touches. First game without Staley, they made Eckler pretty much the bell cow. Now, he's not efficient. The efficiency is not there, but I think Eckler, and the matchup is pretty decent because the Broncos have been giving up boatloads of points to running backs all season. I told you to play Ezekiel Elliott against them last week, and he came through. I think Austin Eckler is going to be just fine in this one. Like I said, about tonight, Dallas, Detroit, it doesn't take a genius to see that there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. We know the Lions struggle on the road. Jared Goff has struggled historically on the road, but it's in a dome. All right. Dallas has done their best work at home. And I talked about Jake Ferguson. 4 of his 5 touchdowns have come at home. I think it sets up as a good matchup for him. I would play both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a first-round pick next year. I'll play both of these guys. Prescott, obviously, is going to be doing his work at home. Jared Goff, yes, he struggles on the road, but again, it is in a dome, fast track. Dallas defense is tough against the slot, so Amon-Ra St. Brown may not have that huge game like he had last week. But CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson. I've been trying to find a way to get Jake Ferguson again in my flex spot this week, but one of the cardinal sins in fantasy football is when you put a tight end in a flex spot over a running back or even a wide receiver, but especially a running back. So, like I said, I have 4 running backs for 3 spots. So I'm going to play one of my backs in the flex spot. Ferguson, can he score? I think he will. As a matter of fact, if you do daily betting or you're doing any sort of parlay, I would absolutely take Ferguson touchdown anytime tonight. Like, I think he's going to score. It's just, you could take it to the bank. But why am I not playing it? Because if he doesn't score, then you get what happened, last week, 8 fantasy points, or on Thanksgiving when he did nothing. Those are the 2 times I played him this year, because I've had Trey McBride this whole time, and he's been unbelievable. Whereas if you have a running back, they have 2 avenues. They can, either catch the football out of the backfield or they're running it. And all my running backs this week have good matchups. Isaiah Pacheco has a great matchup against the Bengals if he can get cleared. James Conner, while the Eagles do stop the run well, they reincorporated him into the passing game with smashing success last week. And here's the thing, guys. I was a big James Conner booster this year. I know he was an aging back and he, gets hurt every year, but he fell into that value dead zone category that's been extremely profitable for running backs this year. If you look at James Conner's advanced statistics, he's one of the best running backs in football this season on a per touch basis. He's been really that good. Talking about James Conner. So, whenever James Conner plays, he's really, really freaking good. Now, I'm not too thrilled with having 2 Cardinals in a lineup. I think Javonte Williams is going to be the guy I'm going to bench because he was under 50% snap share last week. He looks like a glorified Najee Harris right now. He's just not running with any sort of speed. He looks like he's running in place. It looks ugly. And we said, he has not had that explosion in his legs since coming back from the injury. Maybe next season it'll reappear further away from that devastating injury he suffered last year, but it just hasn't been good. He's not scoring touchdowns. He's catching the ball. But he's really 10 to 12 fantasy points almost every week, and that's not going to get it done in a championship. Isaiah Likely or Dalton Schultz. I like Likely this week. Pardon the pun. He's been good. He's had a 20-yard catch almost every week since Mark Andrews has been out. I'm actually playing against Likely in my championship match, and I have Lamar Jackson. So I'm not thrilled about that. Because PPR league that helps the receiver more than the quarterback. But I think Likely is the better option there. Barkley, Montgomery, or Zamir. Need 2 for PPR. I would have to go Montgomery and Zamir. Listen, whether it's Josh Jacobs and it looks like he's going to be out, or Zamir White, the Colts give up the 9th most fantasy points to running backs this season. Barkley, meanwhile, has to go through Aaron Donald and his really strong Rams defensive line. You could beat the Rams through the passing game, not so much in the running game. And listen, we have to make tough decisions in the championship week. And Saquon Barkley, not a knock on his ability. It's really the awful state of the Giants offense and the offensive line. Also Raiders or Broncos. I know you said Raiders. The Raiders have been putting up a ton of points over the last few weeks. So I would go with the Raiders. Anytime TD with Ferguson, Hopkins, Pitts, Chase Brown, $5 to win 700. Wow. Hopkins is a good play this week. Now that they're getting Levis back. Chase Brown, who knows about that one, but Kyle Pitts, who's been playing better. I have the Bears defense myself going this week, so hopefully they'll have a good, have a good game. There's going to be bad weather, like I said. A couple of questions. Yeah, no problem. Kyler or Stafford? I'd have to go Stafford. The Giants haven't stopped anybody all year. Now, Kyler, it's going to be a lot of garbage time stuff because the Eagles should get out on them. But I think Stafford, they throw it a lot in the red zone. So I think Stafford has got a good matchup here, and he's been really hot lately. Bench Pollard for Spears or Singletary. No, I wouldn't do that. No, the over-under is 54 tonight. So you gotta think that Pollard's going to have an opportunity to score. A game, no problem. Running backs are my strength. You called it on Zeke last week. Yes, absolutely. And I'm playing him again this week. And here's the thing. Counting receivers and running backs over the last 3 weeks, Ezekiel Elliott is 5th in target percentage, incorporating backs and receivers. That's just insane. I have Walker the third, who I don't know if he's going to play. Mostert banged up. Zeke, JT. I'm leaning Walker and JT. I'm playing Zeke, Chris. Wasted forward on my bench. I would probably go Zeke and JT. Walker's banged up. He may not go. Mostert certainly is banged up. And the Ravens are for real. Kyler or Goff. I'm still going Goff. I'm going everybody Detroit, Dallas. So if there's anybody that's in that game, I'm playing those guys. Detroit with the upset tonight. I don't think so. I think Dallas knows they need this game and they're going to come out with it. My championship team has Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Monty, and Laporta. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's not ideal. If you're going to bench anybody, it's going to be Monty because he's very touchdown dependent. So I mean, you're not sitting Laporta or St. Brown. Monty, I would, when he doesn't score, it's not that great of an outing for him. He doesn't have that upside that Gibbs has. Singletary or Ty Chandler. I would go Ty Chandler there. You could put in Likely. Got JT and ETN at running back. I mean, you could do that. I would play. I think ETN they're going to feed him with Trevor Lawrence being out. JT is a good matchup. I mean, you could put Likely in there. I think Laporta is going to have a big game because Dallas is really strong against slot receivers, and that's where Amon-Ra St. Brown does most of his work. Do you trust Mike Evans given his history with New Orleans? Yeah, Jermaine, that's his kryptonite. And I think it gets in Evans' head when he plays against Marshawn Lattimore. I know Lattimore has been banged up. Is he actually playing? I didn't check. It's hard to ever sit Evans, though. I mean, the guy is just having a nuclear season all the way around. So, but you're right. That is the one team that seems to get under his skin, literally. CEH or Walker if Pacheco's out. I guess I would go CEH because there's no Jerick McKinnon. Would you take Detroit plus 6? Yes, I would take the points. I do think it's an overcorrection. If it was 5.5. Now it's up to 6.5. Like, I would definitely jump on those points. I have to start 2. Hold on. Let me check on the Eagles. Something's going on with the Eagles. Let's see. They changed the game status. All right, just defensive players. I have to start 2. Olave, Rasheed, or Collins. I would start Olave and Rashee Rice. I think it's going to be Russ with CJ Stroud. Is it okay to start Mostert? Rain, it's not an ideal matchup, but I mean, you've come this far with the guy. He's running back 2 this season, which he's arguably, along with Kyren Williams and Puka Nacua, the best values of any player in fantasy this year. I think you got to go with him. Pick a flex, Monty, Likely, Josh Downs, Dortch. Likely, probably. And given what you said before, I would have Likely as the flex. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 62% in the poll. I thought it would be a little bit more even than that. Mecole Hardman will play for the Chiefs, so maybe that will help them out a little bit. I'm still waiting on Isaiah Pacheco. No word yet on if he passed the concussion protocol. Jacoby Brissett, game time decision. So Sam Howell could be out there. God, if Sam Howell is playing against the 49ers, it is going to be ugly, to say the least. He's got no confidence. I think Sam Howell is still a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's just got no confidence right now. And to go against the 49ers and that buzzsaw defense, it's going to be ugly there. Jags or the Rams defense, I'm going Rams. The Jags with no Trevor Lawrence, I think it could be putting them in the defense in bad spots. So Trevor Lawrence finally missing a game. I think it was overdue. Just wasn't playing well. A lot of injuries. It was obvious to see he wasn't the same player that he was prior. And really the season as a whole has been a disappointment for Lawrence, who I was extremely high on coming into the season. Once you get past the top 3 quarterbacks, Mahomes, who right now is QB7, which is disappointing for him, Hurts and Allen, the next tier of quarterback, and even the tier beyond that was very, very disappointing. Justin Fields, I know he's been better lately, but he's been disappointing. Lawrence, very disappointing. Joe Burrow got hurt. Daniel Jones, bust. Kirk Cousins, bust. Just that whole Deshaun Watson bust and Browns, Joe Flacco giving them the best quarterback play, and Baker Mayfield doing what he's doing in Tampa Bay. It makes the Browns look absolutely ridiculous, giving him that contract. Who's just not a likable person as it is. Evan Ingram could maybe have a big game. Yes, I think he will. Beathard's going to throw to Ingram a lot. Goddard or Laporta, I feel like, yeah, no, definitely Laporta, 100%. By the way, so I just saw this, the end times must be near because the Baltimore Ravens are going to honor Ray Rice this Sunday. So, I mean, what are we doing? We're honoring Ray Rice. Like, that's where we're at now. We're going to honor Ray Rice for what? One of the all-time ugly images in recent times in the NFL. And, that's saying a lot considering how out of control the players have been in the NFL over the last, 5 years or so with all these guns and domestic violence and all this other bullshit. To honor Ray Rice for anything is just absolute disgrace, and it's insulting to the public. So you're going to trot Ray Rice out, and the people are going to cheer him, right? Short memories. That Roger Goodell, that the fact that he doesn't even step in, because how embarrassing was that for Roger Goodell when he initially suspended him for only 2 games, and then the video comes out and his hand was forced to up that suspension. And Rice, he never played after that, as I recall, right? Which, serves him right, because the guy was an absolute scumbag to do what he did. But it just goes to show you that if, look at Tyreek Hill. I mean, he was a 5th round pick coming out of the draft because of off the field garbage. Even though he hasn't been caught up in any domestic incidents of late, he's had 3 kids with 3 different women over the last year. I mean, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing with this Ray Rice situation? Like that, I would imagine there's going to be enough outrage, hopefully on social media, that they would just, scratch this at the last minute. Honoring, absolutely, like honoring Aaron Hernandez. I mean, give me a break. That whole story was just bizarre too. I don't know if anybody ever saw that Netflix documentary about Aaron Hernandez, man. There was just so much material there to digest. You almost had to watch it twice. The guy was just completely batshit crazy. I mean, it's just nuts what was going on there. I won my championship trophy week 16. So we started playing a week early. Thanks for all the advice. Oh, you're welcome, Eldad. I really appreciate that. I hope to hear a lot of stories like that on Monday. I'm thinking of doing a Sunday night stream, actually, to see how everybody did. All this domestic violence commercials for what? Now you're going to honor him. That's good. Yeah, Tim, it's insane. And again, like the social justice, it's ridiculous. And I never want to get political on here. This is like a political free space. But it's a very inconsistent messaging that the NFL has put out for a really long time. And again, to even think about having some kind of a ceremony for Ray Rice and to have people, because there's going to be people cheering for him. I think it's beyond sickening that would happen. But what do I know, right? So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff wrong with the NFL. And like I said, it's going to benefit me. Changing the subject is going to benefit me if Isaiah Pacheco gets cleared and plays. But how on earth is that even a possibility 6 games after suffering a concussion? Like, I just don't understand it. I really don't. It's amazing to me that he would even possibly be cleared for that. So other names that are out this week, Zach Moss, really, really rough finish for him. Marquise Brown, just never got going. And I was a fan of his. You would think that he would be able to reprise his connection with Kyler Murray. It just never got going for him. Of course, Jalen Waddle. I think they're going to have to rely on the running game big time. Like Tua Tagovailoa is a terrible start this week. He hasn't even been playing that well. He's been pretty much 1 touchdown and that's it for like the better part of the last month and a half. And he doesn't run. So Tua needs 2 passing scores at the very least each week to bring home the bacon from a fantasy perspective. And it just hasn't happened. And now he's got the Baltimore Ravens. It's crazy what's going on there. The Knicks just made a trade. Wow. I don't know if anybody's a basketball fan, but the Knicks just traded RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly to the Raptors for OJ Anunoby, and the Knicks are suing the Raptors right now too, believe it or not, because of the what the fuck, like what is going on? So RJ Barrett is being traded to the Raptors with Emmanuel Quickly for OJ Anunoby. Interesting. All right, I don't talk NBA in here, but that's, as I am a Knicks fan, so I thought that's a really big trade like this early in the season. For basketball at least. Pick one defense: Seattle, Rams, and Eagles. Rams, definitely Rams. Giants have given up the most passing, most sacks of anybody in the NFL this season. So anyway, all right, let me get back to the injuries. I got sidetracked with that. So Jalen Waddle's out. Eric Armstead, Javon Marjaquan. So nobody else really. And like I said, Jacoby Brissett. All right, so Kenneth Walker's a game time decision. DK Metcalf will play. So DK Metcalf will be in there. And that's part another reason why I didn't go with Tyler Lockett this week, because the Steelers, the way to beat the Steelers in the passing game is through the slot, because they're fourth. They've given up the fourth most fantasy points to the slot in the entire NFL. And that's, portends a big game for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know Lockett's gotten a lot of targets, but DK Metcalf is there. So, I wound up going with Garrett Wilson, who really, only gave me 10 fantasy points there. But, and how good is he going to be next year, by the way, Garrett Wilson? Like, if we have a do-over on that, he's going to be a late first round, early second round pick next year. But it's going to obviously, again, depend on the health of Aaron Rodgers for him to come anywhere near the numbers we anticipated him having for this year. Starting St. Brown and Mike Evans, have Nico Noah Brown on the bench. That's no doubt about it. That was the right decision there. Cook, Henry, or Mostert, need one. I would say it's not an easy matchup for Cook. I would have to go Henry, I think, there. Mostert and Cook have two of the worst matchups of any running back ones, at least, in fantasy this week. Derrick Henry is finishing out the string with his Tennessee Titans, his career there. It's going to come to an end. He's not going to be back with them next year. He'll hook up on somewhere, probably as maybe even Dallas, right? Totally can see Derrick Henry signing with the Dallas Cowboys on a 1-year contract to be the Ezekiel Elliott, part of a tandem with Tony Pollard, because Pollard looks like he needs that wingman. Need some help. Raiders. Hey, Justin, Raiders or Broncos? I like the Raiders because they're much more big play potential there. The points have shown that the last month or so, especially. Aaron Jones, Cook, Javonte Williams, or Chuba. Definitely Aaron Jones. I don't want to play Chuba in a championship. I would go Javonte and Aaron Jones. I don't like the matchup for Cook. Definitely not. That's going to be a tough one there for him. All right. Thanks again, Lamar or Goff. Definitely Lamar. I like Lamar Jackson's chances to put up a big game, and also he's trying to win an MVP. That's a big thing for him. I missed a comment. Hold on. I gotta go back here and rewind. So I missed somebody's comment. Oh, Rice is a flex. Should I keep him on or start a Texans wide receiver? No, you're definitely playing Rice. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. We waited all year for this. As far as Rashee Rice, thanks for all your help this season. My family league, he started Breece Hall and Jerome Ford. If you started that dude, oh my God. Yeah, Mark, that's rough. So I guess you're going down this week. And how about Jerome Ford? Actually, he turned out to be, we don't mention him when it comes to value plays in fantasy. He's been one of them. Aaron Rodgers really enough to fix that team. They need O-line and Hackett just Tim, I agree. They're going to need to fix that offensive line again. Both New York teams. He's one hit away from disaster, as we see. And that's why if you invest in Garrett Wilson, like I'm all in on Breece Hall. And this is somebody who drafts wide receivers exclusively in round one. Like Breece Hall, I have to admit, would be tempting. Because I think Breece Hall is the closest thing you can get to Christian McCaffrey. And I don't say that lightly in terms of dual threat, passing and running the ball. Look what he's done the last 2 weeks. There's not been a better player in fantasy in the weeks that count than Breece Hall. And I know for a fact because I lost to him last week on a team that was stacked. they're going to need to sign Jacoby Brissett. It's either Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, who's a free agent as well. They have to get one of those guys. And then you'd feel a little better, at least, about Garrett Wilson. Who's this year Rookie of the Year? Oh, Puka Nacua, 100%. There's no doubt about that. Puka Nakua's been a wide receiver one. Bench Flacco for Stroud. Hopefully that didn't come. Yeah, you know what? You can't be blamed for that. The Jets defense has been good all year. I personally wouldn't touch Garrett Wilson until the third. Understand. I totally understand. Start CEH or Charbonnet. I would go Charbonnet. I don't trust CEH. He hasn't really been that good. I know he had that 120-point game or whatever, but it's been more in the passing game. I need to start 3.5 PPR. Aaron Jones, ETN, Chandler, CH, Zamir White. Right now I have Jones, ETN, Zamir White. That's who I would pick. So I'm with you on that, George. Those are my choices. Also, Raiders, Bills, or Chiefs. Kansas City's been so good. I'd have to go with the Chiefs. Aiming to be the first ever back-to-back champ in my league. Yeah, I am aiming for that too, George. But as I've said before, my friends and family league, I did win last year, but there's an asterisk attached to it because of the DeMar Hamlin game. My opponent and I had Bills and Bengals in the championship last year, and we played it forward the following week, but it's a different matchup. So it distorted the ending. So I don't consider that. That's why I really want this one bad. And this would be my 6th career championship in 20 years of the Friends and Family League. And the next highest person has 3. So I feel like I've done really well in that league. Now, my work league, I'm 0 for 3. It's been 3 years of that league. I'm 0 for 3, even though I made the playoffs all 3 years. Ridley, Cooks, or Flowers, non-PPR. I'm shying Ridley because of the quarterback situation. I would go Flowers. Like Breece, love Breece Hall. Love him. I'm tempted by Breece Hall. I'll be the first to admit. Stafford or Mahomes. I have Rice, and we like to stack to work out. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think you could do that. And again, you go big in the championship. So I absolutely would do a stack. Kincaid or Kraft. I think I need to roll. Yeah, I think so too. Listen, Kincaid has not been the same player with Dawson Knox back, and I gave you that stat a million times. Only one double-digit PPR game with Dawson Knox in the fold. All right, so that is all you need to know there. Likely or Goddard, I'm going likely. I tell you guys, I'm really stressed about this game tonight. I need CeeDee Lamb to outscore Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, 53% of you disagree with me. I think Lamb's going to have to pick. I hope maybe that's just me putting it out into the universe. Like I have a 59% chance at this moment, even with only 10 points from Garrett Wilson Thursday night, to win. My opponent lost Josh Jacobs, but he does have Zamir White. But White's not catching the football. He's starting Tua Tagovailoa, which I think is a mistake. He's starting Devin Achane. I mean, that could, he could break out on any one touch, but still, again, that's a tough matchup against Baltimore. He's got Diggs. He's got St. Brown, so that's really strong there. He lost Hawkinson, but he's going with Likely. So his team is strong. I'm really strong at running back. I don't know. I just want to win this freaking league. I got Lamb going tonight with St. Brown and Dak. All right, Justin, but if you have going against Dak, that's good that you have Lamb if it's a PPR league. My opponent screwed himself at QB. I'm going against Jared Stidham, Rasheed Rice, Jaden Reed, Bijan, CMC McBride, and Deontay Johnson. I like your chances, George. Careful, your buddy might be listening. Yeah, he could be. He definitely could be. But and his other quarterback is Jordan Love, who's projected for fewer. Let me just check now. Now you got me nervous, Polomsky. If Mostert is still questionable as a lingering health issue, I pivot to Zamir. I mean, you could. Listen, Zamir White's got a much better matchup. But Mostert, you've ridden Mostert this whole time. We got Josh Allen, Diggs, Ayuk, Jones, ET. Yeah, if you don't pull that out, George, I'd be shocked. Yeah, I have a 58% chance to win. He's got Tagovailoa, St. Brown, Devontae Smith, Stephon Diggs. So that's a really strong threesome at receiver. He's got Derrick Henry, who did nothing last time they played Houston. He's got Achane, Likely, Zamir White, and Denver. I have Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Man, the quarterback change, though. I don't know what to think now with Jefferson. I started Garrett Wilson. I have James Conner, Ezekiel Elliott, Trey McBride, Pacheco in Chicago. And on my bench, I have Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, and Tyler Lockett. So who knows? Diggs been struggling. You should be good. Yeah, Bill Belichick knows how to defend him. Just worried about CMC going up for 40 against Washington. Yes, and I think that's going to happen. Like, it is a huge game for CMC. That and Ayuk isn't getting looks last week was a fluke. Yeah, you know what, George? That really pissed me off because in a league that I lost, my opponent, I had an 8+ point lead going into that game Sunday night, and he had Ayuk left. And with 11 minutes to go in that game, he had 2 points from Ayuk. I was 11 minutes away from winning, and then fucking Sam Darnold comes in and just starts feeding Ayuk one right after the other. Like, it was so frustrating that I lost that game. But it is what it is, right? All right, guys, I think I'm going to jump out now, get some stuff done today. Looking forward to this game tonight. Hopefully it all works out. Fingers crossed. I don't want anybody's players getting hurt. You don't want to lose a championship because of injuries. That's the worst. That's why I do believe in those 2-week finals. If you can do that, that way, if there is a key injury, it doesn't, really distort rather the entire result. So anyway, like I said, guys, good luck tonight. Keep the messages coming. Make sure you become a member of the channel if you haven't done so already. Good stuff coming this offseason. I'm already hard at work on my NFL prospect draft guide. So that will be coming out in a few months. If anything happens tonight, certainly we'll jump on. Until then, guys, good luck to all of you, and I will see you soon.